My name's SURRIDGE. I'm an artist. I'm usually based in London. Currently I'm doing a 2-year course in blacksmithing part-time. So that means I'm a lot of the time up in Hereford. I've got my studio up in Hereford now. And I'm really enjoying it. It's a really good chance for me to learn more about a medium and material which I'm really interested in learning more about. I generally work in sculpture, mixed media. I'm really excited about exploring new materials. That's what really drives my work. However, I do venture into drawing and photography as well. I was instantly drawn to the Lymington side of the project just because as a child I often came here on holiday, so I had a vague knowledge of the area, and it was always somewhere which really was very special to me. And what the New Forest is all about, it's about being outside and enjoying what is perhaps one of the most beautiful areas in England, I'd say. When I look out the window to work in the morning, you know, I've got water pretty much wherever I look, almost on three full sides, and you can't help but use that in your work, you know, just even from using a feather or taking one of my lead works and putting it in the environment and photographing it there, it's all fed into my work. Being here has been really incredible, and the building itself has in fact inspired several pieces of art. One of my workshops I did when I was here was a wood charring workshop, which was done in conjunction with the architects who designed the building. We built these chimneys, and how you do it is you get 3 pieces of oak we used, and light a fire at the bottom of the chimney, and then the fire runs up the centre, only charring the inside. Also, that piece is incredibly special to me in terms of the location as well, because there was a memorial bench on the site where this project is right now, but it is going back. And I ended up meeting the family of who the bench was for, and it turned out that where I'm going to put the charred shapes I will make out of the wood was this guy's favourite place as well. So there's a beautiful circle happening there, and that means a lot to me. Being here, in fact, infected my work incredibly. I mean, before being here, I was based part-time in London, part-time in Hereford, and I guess there I had all my tools and equipment, and I had, you know, welders, the forge, you know, and I think that I was starting to rely on these kind of bits of equipment quite a lot. And obviously when I'm here, it's a massive step back for me from that, because I have one plug socket. And I don't have all my kit which I usually use. So I really put myself out of my comfort zone, I think, and really started working in ways which I wouldn't usually consider, in fact, and using materials which I wouldn't usually consider. For example, there's a little secret beach near here, and I've fallen in love with the spot. It's absolutely beautiful, and I've never been to a beach where it's predominantly made out of shells. So obviously this seemed like a really good source of material for me. You know, there's plenty of it. What I love in my work is I love repetition, and I love the use of multiple items. So in that case, this seemed perfect. So I went there endlessly picking up shells, and started a series called the Sinister Seaside series. And that was, you know, using these little ceramic objects I've found in Lymington and kind of putting a dark twist to them, slightly referencing those really awful shell-covered cats and dogs you get from seaside shops. It's influenced my work fantastically being here. Of course, then there's all the natural materials. I've worked with grasses and the sands. Yeah, I forgot all about the sands. I mean, I did a trip over to Allen Bay to specifically collect the special multicoloured sands from Allen Bay, and I think there's 21 naturally occurring colours over there. I got a whole load of those, brought them back to the studio, and those have featured quite heavily in my projects and work here. So I've been filling them between double glazing units, working on little videos where you drill a hole in the double glazing unit and then fill it with sand and then let the sand all run out, which has been creating some really interesting effects. And I also did a workshop with the children of Lymington at St Barb's Museum, and there we were doing drawings and then painting the pictures with sand. They were helping me do a sculpture which I call the semaphore sand piece, and they were all given a small wooden square which was divided in half, and I just got them to colour one side of the wooden square with sand, and it was then my job to join all these wooden squares together to make this massive flexible sculpture, which is based on the design of a semaphore flag. I've been studying blacksmithing, and one of the techniques I've been learning is called repoussé. We work the metal cold in this instance, and so I get a block of lead, and I've handmade all my own little tools and hammers to work it with. And first I draw on the design I want, and then I go round the lines of the drawing with a really small chisel. The material's then flipped over and pushed forward to give the piece more relief. Every so often we have to anneal it because the metal gets stressed and hardens as it's worked. So if you put it in the fire and bring it up to a cherry red colour, it sorts out the grains and it becomes a bit easier to work again. And then once I've finally done this incredibly long process, I'm going to gild it all a really nice greeny gold and then include it in a sculpture I have planned. I use a wide range of materials in my practice. I'm very much drawn to things I find in my explorations of an area. So in that sense, travel is really important for me, which is why I love doing residencies. Being in a new situation, a new place, just opens up a wealth of possibilities in terms of materials. So, I mean, here I've been working with the shells quite a lot and sand, and I think these are quite, you know, they're materials which you associate quite readily with the seaside, and I almost like that. I wanted some of the work to be almost a little bit of a joke, a little bit of trying to get some humour in it, you know, thinking of what you do at the seaside, and there is a lot of shell art and a lot of sand art, and I wanted to take those and add my own kind of slightly sarcastic twist to it. The observatory is situated just next to a main footpath, which has had its ups and downs. I mean, it's been an incredible chance to meet hundreds of people, and some people I've formed really special relationships with. The family of who the memorial bench was for, an older guy who's a writer, and a lot of dogs actually, in fact, as well. You know, you have your regulars, and as you get to know those people, they let secrets out about Lymington, and sometimes I've been drawn maps of the area of secret beaches to go and find where I might get a really good sand sample. So that has been fantastic, you know, just finding places which I perhaps wouldn't have found by myself, inspired by the people I've met, has been great. Since the observatory is in such a prominent place in terms of the interaction with the public, I really wanted to use those interactions, so I set up a couple of pieces specifically to kind of work with this. So one of them is the swap shop, and it's just a little cabinet, and I put a few objects I'd found walking in the area, and over the time I've been here, people have bought their own objects and swapped them for mine, and then swapped them on and swapped them on, and there's a logbook which people can write about what they've taken, what they've left behind and why. And this is a really nice piece. I think it's become like everybody's diary of the environment here. The other piece I've made to try and interact with the public with is the vending machine. I often find that I get, you know, hundreds of little doodles, hundreds of little like mini sculptures I make, and I don't really know what to do with them. So I thought, why not just pop them in an egg, and people can buy original artworks for £1, and it's been a really nice way to kind of interact with people that way as well. I'll be leaving the observatory soon, and I think all residencies have that special place in your heart. You know, they touch you in different ways, and hopefully my experiences here will help feed into a new residency. I think it's the life of the artist. You know, you're constantly writing proposals, you know, waiting for answers, waiting for responses, and for me, I love being on the road. I love traveling. So hopefully I'll be off traveling somewhere, you know, being able to experience a new location, discovering new materials and feeding them into my work somehow.